In this video, I try to beat Terraria 1.4.4 using whips only. With the many changes to whips, I've decided to revisit a challenge I've done in the past. How will these changes affect my progression towards the end game, and will I be able to defeat Moonlord? Stay tuned to find out. Alright, let's get started. So there aren't too many whips in this game. There's only one whip that I can get without having to kill anything, and that is the leather whip. But to be able to obtain this weapon, I'll need the zoologist to spawn. For her to spawn, I'm gonna have to collect 53 entries into my bestiary. There are a lot of ways to get these entries. Having monsters die near you, simply just walking near and capturing critters with a bug net, and also interacting with NPCs. Different variants of critters such as gem bunnies and gem squirrels count for 1 each, and since there are 7 types of gems in this game, I can easily get 14 entries. After chopping down some trees for wood, I started making NPC houses. The faster the merchant spawns, the faster I can start collecting some critters. Once I finished making the houses, I went down a living wood tree and found my first life crystal and a gold chest with Hermes boots, which was a great start. The crimson was really close, and since I had some bombs, I blew up 2 hearts to receive the Undertaker and Crimson Heart. With the Undertaker, the Arms Dealer is now able to spawn. I went back home and saw that the merchant had arrived, so I purchased the bug net from him. A method I used to collect entries of monsters was letting the guide kill them for me, since I wasn't allowed to. I even went to the point of dragging monsters from the desert and jungle for the guide to kill, but it did take quite some time since his accuracy with the bow wasn't really the best. Next, I went to the jungle to find some accessories like feral claws and the band of rejuvenation. After getting my health to 240, I went back home and made the platinum pickaxe with some silver armor and platinum armor. To get 2 more entries, I went to the left side of the world where the dungeon was to talk to the old man and the angler at the ocean. I then did a bit of mining and found life crystals to get my health to 380, but while I was mining, I got the message saying an evil presence was watching me. Without any weapons to fight back, I let myself get killed by the Eye of Cthulhu. After dying, I went back down to find my last life crystal for max health. To finish off my bestiary, it's now time to collect gem bunnies and gem squirrels. In order for these critters to spawn, I had to make NPC houses underground. Planting gem trees also helped improve the spawn rates. After finally achieving enough entries, I went back home and slept until morning. The zoologist spawned, so I went and purchased the leather whip from her. Now I'll be able to start killing monsters on my own. I know I just got this weapon, but it's already time to replace it. I went down the jungle and began farming jungle spores, vines, and stingers. Once I collected enough, I made the snap thorn. Attacking with this weapon grants a boost in attack speed and can also inflict poison. Now with this weapon, I summoned the Eye of Cthulhu. After defeating the Eye of Cthulhu, I drank a gravitation potion to find some sky islands. I found the shiny red balloon and the lucky horseshoe. I was gonna go to the Crimson afterwards to take on the brain of Cthulhu, but I was interrupted by a goblin army. After defeating the army, I found the goblin tinkerer. I purchased rocket boots and a workshop from him. I combined some of my accessories to make lightning boots and the horseshoe in a balloon. Now back to my original task. I went to the Crimson and summoned the Brain of Cthulhu. This weapon did pretty well against the boss. It was able to hit all of the creepers and poison them as well. Also for its second phase, telling which one's real was really easy. Attacking with a whip applies a white circle onto the enemy, so all I had to do was look at that. You can also look at the poison tick damage, but it's much easier to just look at the circle. After defeating the brain, I made the Deathbringer pickaxe and crimson armor. I then went to the dungeon to summon Skeletron. After defeating Skeletron, I searched gold chests until I found the cobalt shield. I also killed a ton of skeletons for some bones to make my next weapon, the Spinal Tap, which is made from 90 bones and 55 cobwebs. This weapon has 29 damage and is the best pre-hard mode whip before entering hard mode. It's almost time to fight the Wall of Flesh, but before that I mined Hellstone to craft the Molten Pickaxe and Molten Armor for more defense. I then went to Hell and threw the Voodoo Doll in to begin the fight. After defeating the Wall of Flesh, I was really hoping to get the Firecracker from the treasure bag, but unfortunately I didn't get it. Instead, I went to the Crimson to break some altars. I mined some Cobalt, Orichalcum, and Adamantite. After collecting enough Adamantite, I made Adamantite armor. Afterwards, I went up to a sky island to farm some wyverns for Souls of Flight, and luckily enough, while doing so, a harpy dropped a giant harpy feather, so now I can make harpy wings. I really wanted the Firecracker from the Wall of Flesh. I was going to go back down to Hell to fight it again, but then it started to rain, which meant that there was a blizzard going on in the snow biome, so I went there. An ice golem spawned, which was perfect since I'll be needing an ice core from it. The ice core will be used to make a new weapon, the Cool Whip. Once I got the ice core, I went back home and made the whip. Attacking with this weapon spawns a homing snowflake buff that lasts for 2 seconds but can be applied instantly as long as you can keep attacking. Now having this weapon, I summoned the Destroyer, and I couldn't believe how insane this weapon was against this boss. The snowflake literally ran through every single segment of the boss, dealing over 500 damage per second. If I had the Firecracker instead, I don't think I would have been able to deal enough damage for this fight. After defeating the Destroyer, I got hollowed bars to make the Durandal. Whenever I attack with this weapon, it increases my attack speed just like the Snapthorn, but with more damage. Next up are the Twins. I really thought my whips wouldn't be able to reach them, but thankfully they did, so I didn't really have any problems with this fight. Now it's time for the last mechanical boss, Skeletron Prime. After gathering all the souls of the mechanical bosses, I made the pickaxe axe and went down to mine some chlorophytes. While I was down there, I found the plantera bulb, so I blew up an area for the arena. After finishing the arena, I broke the bulb to begin the fight. With the defeat of Plantera, there will now be new monsters that spawn in the dungeon. The next and final weapon that I'll be obtaining is the Morning Star, which is dropped from either blue, rusty, or hell armored bones with a 0.5% drop rate. After killing my first rusty armored bones that I've seen since coming into the dungeon, it dropped the Morning Star. This weapon has over 200 damage, which is 100 more than the Durandal. After getting this weapon, I went to the jungle and farmed enough turtle shells to make turtle armor. I'm pretty beefed up now, so I made my way to the temple to summon Golem. After defeating Golem and receiving some beetle shells, I crafted beetle armor. So my equipment and accessories are basically all set now to take on Moonlord. I went to the dungeon one last time to summon the lunatic cultist. After defeating the lunatic cultist, I dealt with all 4 celestial pillars, starting with the solar pillar, vortex, nebula, and then finally the stardust pillar. And now it's time to take on the final boss, Moonlord. Alright, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I guess throughout this playthrough I didn't really notice much of a difference, and it's probably because of the changes not being too major. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and also subscribe to the channel. This is Necro and I'm out. Peace.